North Carolina, the North Carolina Central Eagles, led by head coach Lavelle Moulton. So we're going to take this commercial break, and we'll be right back on the All Things Sport podcast on Spreaker Radio.
What up? This is Pierre Banks, and when I'm back in Boone watching the Mountaineers, my first stop is always Mountaineer Mania. The good folks at Mountaineer Mania have the widest selection of app gear, so you can cheer on the Mountaineers in style. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, sweatshirts, decals, cornhole sets. I mean, if you need it, they've got it. So head on down to Mountaineer Mania at 497 West King Street in Boone and tell them I sent you.
The All Things Sport Podcast.
We go back like spinal cords and car seats.
With Damian Banks and Pierre Banks on Spreaker Radio.
Welcome back to the All Things Sport Podcast. I am your host, Damian Banks, broadcasting to you from the beautiful Banks Boy Studios right here in Durham, North Carolina. It is ATS. And this portion of the All Things Sport Podcast is brought to you by Triangle Entertainment Worldwide. Triangle Entertainment Worldwide, they provide video and photo shoot production, talent management consultation, label shopping, performance booking, CD duplication and artwork, Reverb Nation services, that's important, logo designs, press kit creations, bio write-ups, legal services, radio placements, production placements, and mixtape hosting. Song and mix mastering services are also included at Triangle Entertainment Worldwide. You can contact Gerald Robinson at 704-774-6212 or go to the website www.teworldwide.com. People, thank you for listening to the All Things Sport Podcast. I didn't thank you on the first segment. I really appreciate all the support that I get from our listeners. This has been a dream of mine since I was a high school football player, a college football player, and just a lover of all things sport. And I listen to a lot of sports talk radio. I watch sports all the time, and I listen to sports talk radio. And I just always wanted to dip my toe into the proverbial pool of sports talk radio, and I'm doing it right now. So again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. And before the commercial break, I was talking about, college basketball, how this area is so rich in college basketball. The tradition in the Triangle area, the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill area for college basketball, it's just crazy, man. You have the Duke Blue Devils in Durham, North Carolina. You have the UNC Tar Heels in Chapel Hill and the North Carolina State Wolfpack in Raleigh. And all of those teams have won national championships. You also have the North Carolina Central Eagles in Durham, North Carolina, and they have won a national championship as well, albeit at the Division II level. But we have a rich basketball tradition, and we call it Tobacco Road. If you are a native of this area, you know that this is Tobacco Road. So it's only right that I speak on the three teams in the Triangle who play in the ACC, because college basketball season just kicked off. They just tipped off. So I'm going to start with Coach K and the Duke Blue Devils. Now, there's a lot of Duke fans in this area. I am in Durham, and there are a lot of Duke fans in this area. And if you know, Duke is a private school. Most of the Duke fans didn't actually go to Duke, but they are from Durham. They're from the state of North Carolina, and they love their Duke Blue Devils. So let me start with Duke. Coach K has a loaded squad this year. His team has so much talent, man. They have talent returning, and they have talent coming in. The big name for the talent that's returning is Grayson Allen. This kid can flat out play, man. Grayson Allen is a player, and he has taken on the mantle as the most hated player at Duke, a la Christian Laettner, Wojo, JJ Redick. All those players were hated, and Grayson Allen is also hated as a Duke basketball player. Luke Kennard is also back. You have the senior leadership of Emile Jefferson and Matt Jones. And you have the emerging stardom of Chase Jeter. Insert freshmen like Frank Jackson, big-time player out of Utah. Jason Tatum, big-time player out of St. Louis, Missouri. And Harry Giles out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, who was the #1 player in high school basketball last season. And you have a recipe for a potential national championship run for the Duke Blue Devils. Now, we all know that Coach K is one of the best college basketball coaches to ever walk the planet Earth. So we know that the coaching is going to be there. My question is, will they be able to put it all together? There are several potential one-and-done players who are playing at Duke right now. Jason Tatum, potential one-and-done. Harry Giles, potential one-and-done. Frank Jackson, potential one-and-done. So the time is now for the Duke Blue Devils. Throw in a 6'11 Marquise Bolden out of DeSoto, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And Coach K, the cupboard is full. His cup runneth over in Durham for Coach K. So can the Blue Devils put it all together, man? Their roster, again, loaded with McDonald's All-Americans. Coach K had a renaissance, so to speak, in recruiting in the last 5 to 8 years, and he is getting all the top players. Now, a lot of people think that that renaissance in recruiting has to do with Coach K leading Team USA on the international scene, coaching all those NBA players like LeBron and Carmelo, Steph Curry, and the like. And, you know, he gets so much exposure with Team USA that these high school kids, how can you say no to Coach K? Coach K coached LeBron. Coach K coached D Rose. He coached Steph. He coached Carmelo. He coached KD. You know, he coached all the best players in the world. So if he could coach those guys to success, then he can definitely coach a high school kid coming from those ranks to the college ranks with the potential of going to the NBA and you know, continuing their career at the professional level. So the cupboard is definitely full again in Durham. Coach K, can they put it all together? Now, me personally, I'm not a Duke Blue Devil fan. I just appreciate good basketball, and they play good basketball in Durham. And Coach K, your team is loaded this season. You should be in the Final Four at least, barring a major injury. Now, one of the players that I think that they can least afford to lose, you think I'm going to say Grayson Allen, but it's Emil Jefferson. Emil Jefferson is the junkyard dog type player that you need to be successful on the college level. He's a veteran. He's a senior. He's been there. He's done that. And he is the glue that could hold Duke together. So Emil Jefferson missed most of last season with the foot injury. So if you can keep him healthy and you can stay healthy as a team, the sky's the limit for that Duke Blue Devil squad. Now, I know a lot of you UNC fans don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear me talking so glowingly about the Duke Blue Devils. You hate the Duke Blue Devils. That rivalry between the UNC Tar Heels and the Duke Blue Devils is second to none. A lot of people believe that it's the biggest rivalry in the world of sports. So when you're that close together and you're that good, you're going to be natural rivals. The UNC Tar Heels, they have a great team this year as well. Now, head coach Roy Williams, he gets a lot of flack. A lot of UNC fans, they come down so hard on Roy. I don't know why. I love Roy Williams, man. Roy Williams is the type of guy, he's like your uncle. He tells it like it is. And Roy Williams takes no mess. He doesn't take any mess from these Tar Heel fans. A lot of people don't believe that Coach Williams is a great X's and O's coach. They think he's a great recruiter and not that good at X's and O's. I beg to differ, man. You don't win that many games being a bad coach. You don't win multiple NCAA championships being a bad coach. So me personally, I like Roy Williams. I hate Roy Williams, but I like Roy Williams. Roy Williams is a great coach. And gone from the UNC Tar Heels are Marcus Page and Bryce Johnson. You got to replace those guys on this year's team. You still have plenty of talent in Chapel Thrill. You have Justin Jackson coming back, Joel Berry, And so far this season, both of those guys have been playing lights out. Kennedy Meeks, Isaiah Hicks, and Roy Williams loves his big man. And you got Nate Britt coming off the bench, as well as Theo Pinson, who is a glue guy in the mold of an Emil Jefferson. So the roster for the UNC Tar Heels is also fantastic. Don't get me wrong. They're not playing with D players. They're not playing with C players. They're not playing with rec league guys. There are plenty of McDonald's All-Americans on the UNC Tar Heels. And the freshman class is going to be what's going to be the most important thing for the UNC Tar Heels this season. Depth is a major issue in the world of sports. Now, if the freshmen for the UNC Tar Heels can produce, then again, just like Duke, the sky's the limit for the UNC Tar Heels. You got a pretty good freshman class, that came in for the UNC Tar Heels. Seventh Woods, Tony Bradley, Brandon Robinson, Kenny Williams. That freshman class is going to either make UNC excel or they're going to hold them back. Now, I'm going to reserve my opinion for that UNC Tar Heel freshman class until a little bit later into the season. Because, freshmen, they take time to get adjusted to the world of college basketball. It takes time, man. There's no one there waking you up to go to class. There's no parents to tell you what you can and can't do. You're in college. You're essentially an adult. You have to make sound decisions. You have to go to class. You have to also balance academics with athletics. So those freshmen are going to need time to adjust. And if that adjustment period takes longer than expected, then UNC could struggle. I don't see the Tar Heels struggling. I've watched them early on in the season, albeit as early on. They look pretty good, man. And it hurts me to see UNC and Duke so loaded, man, because I grew up an NC State fan. I didn't go to NC State. I went to Virginia State University, the reigning CIAA champions in basketball, but I digress. But I did grow up an NC State fan. I wanted to go against the grain. Everyone in my cipher, in my aura, in my area was either a UNC fan or a Duke fan. So I wanted to be a little bit different. So I pulled for the Wolfpack. So it hurts me when Duke is so great all the time and when UNC is so great all the time. And these two teams, the Tar Heels and the Blue Devils, they have the potential this season to be Final Four teams. Wouldn't that be something? Two teams who are rivals, who are located in the exact same area to both go to the Final Four. It could happen. Coach K could take those Duke Blue Devils to the Final Four, and Roy Williams can definitely take these UNC Tar Heels, this edition of the Tar Heels, to the Final Four. Hell, the Tar Heels won the national championship game last season. They were one shot away from winning it, and a fantastic, improbable three-pointer from Nate Britt's brother to win the national championship for Villanova. I know it crushed the Tar Heels' heart, but you made it there, man. All the other teams were at home hoping that you lost, but you actually made it there. So don't cry for UNC. The Tar Heels will be okay this season. The fans of the Tar Heels, take it easy on Roy. Roy knows what he's doing. It's not easy to coach college basketball, and especially in UNC where the expectations are always so high. But you have a great coach in Roy Williams. He knows what he's doing. And you just have to be patient with this team. Just like any other sport, any other team, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be ups and downs at Duke. There's going to be ups and downs at Tar Heels, but and for the UNC Tar Heels, but there are always more ups than there are downs. So these two teams, the UNC Tar Heels and the Duke Blue Devils, they are on a collision course. They play each other twice every year. Those games are fierce competition. That rivalry is second to none in the world of sports. So the UNC Tar Heels this year's edition and the Duke Blue Devils this year's edition, they're poised to have great seasons and they're poised to make Final Four runs. So I gave you a breakdown a little bit of the UNC Tar Heels and the Duke Blue Devils. I'm going to take a commercial break. When I come back from the break, I'm going to break down, no pun intended, the NC State Wolfpack, and I'm also going to give you a little breakdown of the North Carolina Central Eagles, because I got nothing but love for head coach Lavelle Moton and his Eagles. But let's take this commercial break, let's pay some bills, and we'll be right back on the All Things Sport podcast on Spreaker Radio.
It's ATS, baby.
Damian Banks here for Austin Davenport Construction. If you're